So, hey guys, so welcome back to the next
Hello.
episode of the podcast. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into the topic and into so called like job scope of consulting. So, to me personally, I think consulting is kind of like a black box because everyone heard of what like the stereotypical kind of role that consulting plays, and in your mind you can picture like okay, it's preparing like presentation slides. You are
Yeah.
going to clients that you are assigned to, talk to them, try to close the deal, or try to upsell them to, and all your important job to me, about preparing slides that your clients want to see and making them happy, right?
Mm.
And of course, tolerating their absentees or their lateness in replying or their additional requests, right? That consultants always have. So today, we have brought in Isaac,
Hello. Yeah.
and
So
Isaac is going to share with us about his experience as a consultant. How many years of consulting work have you?
yeah. So I got into consulting right after graduating for about a year and a half before leaving. Yeah.
So maybe you can share with the audience which university you're from and how you got the opportunity.
Right. I was surprisingly for people who are in Singapore, right? There are like the local universities, and then they have like the private universities, which are not that great. I was from a private university, University of London, and I got lucky enough to enter Accenture as a technology consulting analyst. Yeah,
Oh, anyway, this
education platforms into Singapore. So, um, whether it's University of London or RMIT from Australia, and University of Buffalo, New York. So they just bring in these kinds of uh, I don't know how do I put it. Basically, we are students of those universities, and they conduct their exams here in Singapore, and will be credited their degree, their certifications.
right. So what were you studying in SIM?
I did economics and finance.
Economics and finance. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how you got your But how does that explain how you got opportunity as a tech consultant or tech analyst in Accenture?
Yeah, so let's maybe go back like when I was in the polytechnic. So that's tertiary education, just after high school, secondary school we call it. I did business information technology, so that's a technical kind of diploma, and from there, like I picked up technical skills, and throughout the years, I built my own tech projects on the side, whether it's a trading board, any like some AI projects, stuff like that, and then this this factored into and this was taken a very huge consideration during my application, because I was a finance dude, right? Like I studied finance and I have like tech background, so it makes it very easy for um the recruiter to say, okay, we if let's say they need to fill a finance related in consulting, there's the finance arm. So if we need a finance consultant, and then it's aligned with a technology stack, uh someone like me would work very great in this field. Yeah, so that was the edge that I had amongst the other applicants, I would say.
So in that sense, did you actually meet the minimum requirements for
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
posting?
I mean, they do not. So you just need to be a degree holder, a bachelor's degree holder, and they do not segregate whether or not you are a local uni grad or a private uni grad.
Well,
So this in this program that I got in, it's like a graduate program. So they actually take in anybody. I have batchmates that studied like psychology, or what do you call it, some communications degree. Yeah, so we really have a huge range of uh talents, I would say,
so just
because
to clarify, when you applied for the job, it's not exactly mentioned that you are going to be a tech analyst. It's only after when you were accepted.
yeah, so anyone is interested in applying for Accenture as job as a fresh graduate, they have this program where they put you in one of two things. In this program, you can be a business consultant or you can be a tech consultant. Generally, Accenture is a tech consulting company lah. So many of us would go there. Technology, I mean, okay, why not I give a bigger view on like what like all the consulting arms in.
Before we go there, maybe you can also explain whether, or maybe just explain what Accenture exactly is, and what are some of the other companies that are an alternative to Accenture or
Mm,
competitors of.
mm, mm. Great. So in terms of consulting, right? Before we talk about what consulting is, just let me in the realm of consulting, we have the big three, which is BCG, McKinsey, and Baines. So these are the cream of the crop. They do mainly strategy and management consulting. I'll get to it later. And then for Accenture, we are technology based consulting company first. Like we are technology first, and we are considered, I guess you could say, like second tier. And along with us are other companies like Capgemini, uh, mm, Cognizant, and also in accounting, the big four: PwC, Deloitte, shit, EY, and
Right. Yeah.
what's the last one?
So you have PwC, EY, and then you have Deloitte.
Yeah.
What the last one?
Yeah. Okay. Uh, when I get it, I'll let you know. Yeah. So within these accounting firms, right?
KPMG.
KPMG, yeah. Within these consulting firms, accounting firms, they actually have technology consulting arms as well.
So
So
in a sense that it's not just like the big four in terms of like like Accenture, etc.
mm,
But you also have these so-called big accounting
accounting,
firms that
mm,
also offer such services.
yeah,
So it's actually like as an applicant, as a fresh grad applicant, you actually have quite a number of companies to apply for, a number of
yes.
credible companies to actually apply for. So is it in a way competitive?
Yeah, in some ways it's very competitive because everybody like wants to get in it, right? And it's they are in it for what the media portray, the high salary and the opportunity to take business trips on business class and all that stuff.
But is it really
Yeah.
true?
Uh, I mean, it's in my experience, it's not true for me lah. But for other people, it might be. I unfortunately I was hired during the time of the pandemic, right? So
So you didn't get to experience like
travel.
the business class tickets and everything.
Yeah. So no any what frequent flyer and all that stuff.
Do you get like at least like a business class salary?
Yeah, I would say it's a good market rate lah. Like I'm because I left the company, so I'm willing to disclose this. I was getting about 5K lah as a start fresh grad. So I would say
So
it's.
as a fresh grad, let me just clarify for everyone. So as a fresh grad, by the way, what's your GPA so
Oh,
that
I had we don't use GPS, but I had a first class honors.
first class honors? So for the audience that are hearing, first class honors is actually like the highest accolade, the
Mm.
highest distinction, is it?
Yeah. I can say it's equivalent to a 4.0 because I didn't score straight A's lah. So it's just it's just the highest band of
Right. So like 3.8 to 4.0 out of 4.0 GPA
yeah.
kind of. Okay.
Mm,
Okay. So for everyone to understand a little bit better as well in terms of where you were, in terms of where you were as compared to your peers, what was the average salary of SIM Global graduates during your year?
yeah. There's statistics out there lah, so we can
Like
take a
what
look
what's
at this. But
what's the graph?
around me, I was definitely earning the highest. Apart from those who are uh either self-employed or they are in insurance and stuff like that, insurance
Okay.
property. Yeah. So for those standard fresh grad, they they run from like 2.8 to 3.5. That would
Okay.
be the range. Yeah.
2.8, and you're getting like basically half, close to 100% more than some of your peers.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, so pretty much, I think that being said, it sounds very competitive. And I think it also helps that you kind of get like your your first class honors as well, right? So do you
Mm.
think that that kind of like propelled you into this position? And you were talking about your so-called your advantage that in
Mm.
Polytechnic you had some experience
Mm.
on like the tech side as well. So like tell us more about what your opinion is on that.
Yeah, advantage that I had, having good grades and exposure to technology, I think it's not as important as many people uh put like they place it on a very high pedestal. Uh, In Accenture, just Accenture, I'm not sure about other companies. We kind of look at the people more, like your people skills, and like we
You
look
know
at the person.
how you keep saying like like your of language is like we us. So it sounds like you are still in
Like I'm
Accenture.
saying, it's like
How much like impacted you, quite a fair bit until today.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. The workload, everything about Accenture is really, really nice. And if you ask any Accenture person or a current employee, they will just say like the best thing about Accenture is the people. Yeah.
mm,
And yeah, so that being said, like answering your questions, the quality that they really look for is curiosity.
mm.
Yeah. And I think this is something which uh brings everyone very far. Like, it's not just about consulting and but even like startup founders and um whatever field you are in. If you're curious, you'll find answers, and you just build your knowledge, right?
What you're talking about, the different types of consulting.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
your
Okay. So let me just start by I'll list it in terms of uh how difficult it is to get in. The first one would be strategy. In strategy, what they do is they find ways to increase they find ways to increase clients' revenue. So it's like business strategy. The name speaks for itself. And then next you have management consulting. In management consulting, we don't really look at revenue. We try to improve efficiencies, and this
so just
can
to clarify, you are listing it from like the most difficult to
to
get
get in.
in,
Yeah.
right? Can I just also clarify, is the pay grade the same?
Oh no. Strategy, they earn higher. They have a
Like
higher pay.
higher, like do you have like a
Uh,
benchmark?
I I don't have the raw figures, but what I heard is about like 20-30% higher.
So it's about seven, like from your own
Fresh
bench.
grad. Actually no lah. Fresh grad maybe 6,000 lah. So 20% higher lah. Then next you have management consulting. So management consulting and technology consulting, which I was in, we are kind of like brothers and sisters lah. But there are just lesser management consultants. Management consultants, they try to improve efficiencies, as I said, and there are a couple of ways. First is like things like your queuing system. How can you improve like the flow of polyclinics or something like that? And then uh other ways like, oh, how can you improve your payroll system? Maybe introduce some kind of ERP. So what they do is just, oh, you can try this. You can try this. We give suggestions and solutions for clients who are facing some kind of inefficiencies in their business.
Mm.
Then afterwards, once management consultants have closed the deal, they will bring in the technology consultants. So these tech consultants, what they do is they design, build, test, implement, and support technology solutions. So anything from hosting AWS in your like creating a cloud server for your company to cybersecurity, outsourcing your cybersecurity to us, or even managing any like ERPs as like SAP, Salesforce, Workday. Yeah.
So what
So
you're describing, the technical consultants, that's you, right?
yeah, I was in the technology consulting. Yeah.
Okay, so is there like another level below that in terms of the difficulty to um get in?
Another level below that would be operations. Yeah.
Okay.
So support, and we have tech support. So in operational support, it could be people who handle day-to-day tickets, uh, just a help desk kind of thing. Every company has help desk, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes you can hire Accenture to do it for your particular technology stack. So, for example, I was in SAP. There can be a SAP help desk where people can, like clients can go to, our SAP clients can go to ask questions. And usually, what they do is like they have a like a FAQ in their hands, and these
Mhm.
questions are uh the same questions that people always ask. So they will just copy and paste the answers. And if they cannot uh answer these kind of questions, they will come to the technology consultants.
Mm.
In which case it was me lah. Then will help to resolve the issue.
In Accenture is that it's kind of like offshoring um, company where you outsource or like outsourcing company because you seem to like outsource like the tech stuff. You seem to like outsource stuff and even outsourcing the strategy. So
Hmm. If
since
you're saying like as a client, they are outsourcing all of this, is
yeah,
it?
you know,
Mm-mm-mm.
it's all these different services and like the labor manpower also called
Mm-mm-mm.
to all this.
I guess you could put it that way. Fun fact, right? Accenture has 500,000 employees, so the outsourcing part really, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that why we need so many.
In Singapore, in the context of Singapore, I would suppose that the people that are working in the central office, they are not really kind of like the on the ground operations kind of people, right? Because I
Yeah.
mean that's quite expensive for Accenture even to
Mm-mm-mm.
support all these people. I would figure that Accenture does hire a lot of people from like the more developing countries where the
Mm.
cost of labor is cheaper.
Yes, that's
So
for corporate functions, Accenture's own internal corporate team, they hire offshore. Yeah, no, very little Singaporeans in corporate functions because it's cheaper, right, to get someone from a developing country.
right,
However, because of the nature of the projects, there are some projects that we need Singaporeans. They, as a Singaporean, right, I will be able to work with government projects more easily. Yeah, I'll more or less pass the background check.
right. Compliance. That's why they got to hire Singaporeans.
Mm.
Do you think it's just because of that, uh, or do you think they genuinely think that Singaporeans can value add in certain ways? That
Oh, okay. This is a very good question because uh, whichever answer I give you, I will contradict myself. I'll give you an example why. I was in a government project, but I was the only, I think like 10% of Singaporean. Like there were only 10% of Singaporeans in my project. So I wouldn't say that they hire us because they only want, like they need us to be in the government project. But on the other side of the coin, it's like uh yeah, I have so many international colleagues where
like
oh
are
I
they more
have
like Western or are they more Eastern?
uh they are from the developing countries.
Oh, so they're more
Yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So-
I guess you,
but they're based in Singapore.
yeah, based in Singapore. They stay in Singapore, and I'm not too sure if they have PR. I don't think they even have PR.
But they're definitely foreigners. I mean, like, do
Yeah.
they speak accent?
No, they can sorry, what did you say? Can you repeat that?
Do they speak with accent? I mean, that's a
Oh,
telltale
accent.
indication that yeah,
Yeah. As in like they studied in their countries, and then
uh-huh,
they come here. Yeah.
right. Means that they hit the jackpot and come to Singapore and like get
Yeah,
Singapore salary.
yeah.
to come back home. Okay,
Mm.
okay. So it's like basically foreign talents, right? So
Yeah.
I think that 90% of them they are foreign talents.
Yeah, I would in
Um,
for my project only, like
do you
maybe
think
other
Singaporean gets paid the same
I think I get paid a bit more.
as a Singaporean,
For if someone is the same level as me,
right?
I get paid a little bit more. But the senior ones, they are paid quite well lah. I would
As
say,
like foreign senior talents,
yeah, but I don't think they. I mean, on raw figures, they are paid more, but they kind of have more responsibilities as well lah. So like my team lead is my manager and my team, like, and my team lead are two different people. They are one from India and another one from Philippines. They're definitely paid more than me, but their workload is higher. Yeah.
right? And do you feel like these people they're working with, those foreign talents that had the opportunity to come to Singapore and work for Accenture in their capacity? Do you think that they are kind of like the cream of the crop from
Mm,
their home countries? Because
very good question.
right, because also think, and here's my hypothesis, right? That as a like yourself, you go into this job without being from a autonomous university, right? So without being
Mm,
from all those like top three universities, and
mm,
although you like kind of like a very good grade that you came
mm.
out with, but I'm just thinking, like for all these foreign talents that had the opportunity to come here and work for Accenture in Singapore, were they actually like the cream of the crop? Were they like the scholars? Were they, like
They are the hardest working people I've ever met. I never like so I've worked in banks, I've worked in a telco, in departments where usually the smartest people are there.
you
But
you are
in UOB and I was in Singtel. UOB I was doing some systems analyst, and then in Singtel I was doing AI, predictive analytics. And, the people that are really, really smart. And
wait? So you actually just added something in. So I'm just wondering, did your experience in both Singtel and UOB kind of like help you land the job in Accenture?
yeah, it did. Because uh because in UOB, right, I was on the other side of Accenture. We hired Accenture to help us with the pay now system.
So yeah, because you missed that part out completely, right? So
Okay,
I'm trying to
that
factor
that
that
was
in.
okay, that was useful for my project alignment.
Mm,
It was great for my project alignment. But like where should I fit, like where should I fit? That would help
mm,
me.
mm,
But
mm.
getting into Accenture, uh I believe that this didn't take into consideration lah. Yeah.
Okay, got
Mm.
it. Yeah, okay. So you're saying that they are one of the hardest workers that you have met.
Yeah, because okay, so I just give you an example. Like my manager, right, who's from India. I respect him so much. He starts work at about maybe 6:30 because
Mhm.
he needs to send
AM.
his AM, yeah, send his kids to school.
Okay.
So
In Singapore.
sorry, it's 5:30, 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he
So
he wakes
so
up five
so
thirty
he's-
to
so they basically relocated their families as well.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So he is a sole breadwinner lah, of
Mm.
two kids. So he wakes up at 5:30 to bring his kids to do some work before bringing his kids to school. Then after he sends his kids to school, he comes to office at about 8 lah. He'll reach office about 8. And then he would stay until so late. I leave already, he still haven't leave. So can you imagine like
He's
day in and
working.
day out?
I mean, like what, more than 12 hours a day?
Yeah, definitely more. Definitely more.
But are you guys paid like overtime, or is there?
Okay, so how consultants are paid, right? We bill the clients, and we get billed per hour. Like we bill them per hour, and our
Like
rates.
it's up for individual person, and maybe you work with a team, and it's like total billing hours of the team, or is it like in?
So right, like, but it's not like that. That's not the case. I can work 80 hours week, like a week with 80 hours.
Uh-huh.
But in my timesheet, I still have to like be a good boy and put 40 hours. No matter how much I work,
Because it's over budget for your client.
yeah. Mm,
Right. So
we have
basically,
to
like
be
you
like,
have a cap in terms of how many hours you can work, but you still got to get the work done. So you might have to work overtime without
yeah,
working that
yeah.
in.
We kind like we don't really want to. I don't know how to put it lah, but it's like not nice to cheat the clients, right? Because
Right.
it kind of makes us look bad as well. If
But
we cannot finish the work,
maybe
need
I'm
OT,
wrong, but if I understand correctly, you are not paid as in your compensation. You are not paid based on the number of hours that you bill on your client, right?
no, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm
So,
not.
but was your manager, who was working like slightly more than 12 hours a day, like was he
No, he's like he also has to put 40 hours. Yeah.
okay?
So
So in a sense that it's on like the revenue side of the business where in terms of how much you bill, like how much
mm,
Accenture bills their clients,
mm,
but Accenture pays you their cost structure, right, of
mm.
how they pay their employees is basically like fixed cost. Uh,
Yes, yes, yes. Uh, Maybe there's some misconception when we bill our clients, right? We kind of like we state it at the start of the project. We will like give an estimate of how many man hours we think is needed. So let's say if it's a 800 man hours project, we will just charge them this 800 man hours. Then for us, we will just just internally we just keep tracking as 40 hours, 40 hours.
but well, my hypothesis again is that I think Accenture, they look at the dollar amount, then they
Mm.
work backwards of like how many man hours that is, right? Because I mean, it doesn't make sense.
We have a for us, right? I'm not sure about other projects, but for us, we have a guideline. If
Mm.
we need to build something, we there's a man hour calculator lah. So
And man hours, how is calculated? And not every man is the same, or not every person is built the same, right? I mean, like if you're a junior and your manager works like 1 hour each, well, definitely like that
better.
time of the manager is like worth more, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so when you bill, like I mean, when you say that when you bill your like Accenture's clients X number of hours, like is it your kind of like at your value level, or is it an overall team projects?
It's a team project value. It's a team project value because we have different teams that come in doing different stuff, right? But the overall rate is still the same. So, for
So,
example,
fixed rate, I mean fixed rate per hour kind of.
yeah,
Uh,
that's a fixed rate. Yeah,
so I mean, like, are you allowed to
per hour, but in a day it will hit 4 digits.
in a day you hit four
We
digits? So
so in a we define one day as 8 hours.
right. So basically, like when you clock and versus like when okay, so let's say if you clock 1 hour in that
Mm,
in a single day, and then your manager clocks another hour, is
mm.
it considered 1 hour or is it considered 2 hours?
It's two actually because I will have my own projects. My manager will have his own projects.
Okay,
Yeah, so right, this deal can belong to me. Like it's like tag under my name. So
right,
I will bill it accordingly. Then
right,
yeah. So
okay.
it depends on who gets tagged into which project.
And that's interesting. Like, is there like a accountability that
Oh,
shows
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that it's actually like 1 full hour, not like you drinking coffee and like just typing like
Oh,
random characters, you know.
so in okay, how we bill is like okay, maybe I would say like this takes 30 hours. So 30 hours, okay, let's make the math easier. Let's use 40 hours. 40 hours is 1 week, right?
Mhm,
And I bill you 1 week. But I will tell you like, okay, this will take me 3 weeks, but I just bill you 1 week lah.
mhm,
That kind of thing. So how my our clients they keep track of us is based on the date that we agree on us delivering the product. So let's say my project is to make a certain change. Maybe I want to change a certain system lah in SAP, for example. And then when they want to change to make that change, it has to go live by a certain date. And
mhm.
that's all that matters. Yeah.
Okay. So your manager's KPI is also tied to somehow delivering the project on time.
Yeah. Actually, everyone's responsibility is that we always have to be on time. But what you said, my manager just keeps tracks of all of the projects that is ongoing and ensure that we don't pass we call it the service level agreement SLA.
Right. And I guess that your manager at the end of the day, if someone is not on task, he has to kind of like get on the ground and like do the work
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That maybe is his added responsibility in like
Actually, that is kind of his. It's supposed like by definition that is his only responsibility, right? Because he just needs to manage us. However, there are some more complicated projects where it's out of our bandwidth, so he would take that. Yeah.
okay. Question is because you kind of like know how much the client is paying, right?
Mm.
Is confidential information to like grunts like you who just joined the company, or is it kind of like an open information for everyone to see?
Uh, I never thought about it this way, but how I got to find out about the rates is just by asking. So I
Okay,
assume that it's
so
not.
so so it's not necessarily like you see on your dashboard, then you see, okay, this client is like billing. Since you know that amount, have you tried to calculate the arbitrage? Like, I mean, like, have you tried to calculate, okay, like your own salary and your own
Mm.
time, and you just break it down like your salary and everything. Uh, like, what is the excess?
uh, I I did calculate once, but then it made me really really sad lah.
I'm sure you did, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, like, like if you know that amount, I'm sure everyone mind will be like, okay, so how much is company taking, right?
Yeah, it's uh okay lah. I mean
Like,
like single digit percent. Like I'm a single digit percent.
okay, so you're a single digit percent
Mm.
and do like the final math of like, okay, like, so involved in the project, you have like five more people in the project, and then you have like your manager in the project. So have you like try to do the math and say that okay, all these people working in the project, right, are
Mm.
actually doing the groundwork, right,
Yeah,
are making the project come true. You have your sales side, of course, who manage to close the
yeah,
project.
yeah.
I
Mm.
assume that it's not part of the same team.
Yeah, all part of the same thing. Yeah, if you're asking about the number, it's about 30 to 40%.
I
So,
mean, like the people who close that client, like it's not
oh,
part of
okay.
the same.
Closing the client is one thing, and us, we are the upsellers. We upsell products.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, you are also doing like kind of like the sales part of it, or
Uh,
like your manager is doing it, or some like someone.
yeah, how everything works, right? It's like at the start, people will just define the scopes and say, okay, I want A, B, C. Then suddenly, right, once it delivers, the person that sold the project, right, is done already. Left
No, but
us the
client, so you're saying reselling, then I assume that they are returning clients. I mean, like they're existing clients already.
Yeah, so if let's say in my case it's SAP, right? So initially there was a client account holder. I mean, like this guy that sold to my client say, okay, let's do SAP. So they say, oh yeah, let's do SAP. Then
So I suppose like it's some partner in Accenture that kind of like
yeah,
close that. Okay, so
yes,
it's with SAP, and then like you guys at the bottom will try to upsell stuff along the
yeah,
way.
it's not exactly like upsell, but it's just the nature of things lah. It's like BCD, right? Like four things. Then suddenly the client say, "Eh, maybe we need EFG. How ah?" Then we all over there will be like, oh,
Well,
just pay us all.
is Accenture putting things into like their mind, into like okay, you need these few things,
I have to say that we do a lot of changes for free. If
Mm.
we do like updates and like some kind of like cleaning up of things lah. We do it for free. But if you need a new feature and it takes more than a week for us to do, we will charge. If it's just a couple days of work, we will do it out of good faith. Yeah. And it got to a point where our principal, I'm not too sure who told us lah, but somebody told us that uh we are
Sorry,
doing
what?
too much for
Sorry,
free.
sorry, where's the principal?
uh as in like the guy that sold the project. Yeah,
So you're talking
you could say the project manager lah. Mm.
the project manager. Is it the same person that got this client, SAP
uh
or
no, the same person, because the project I was in was a pretty long project.
okay? So basically, like you're high up, right?
Basically boss said that
Yeah.
you are doing too many things for free, can you like charge them?
Okay, so basically, like I guess it's your like your manager's superior.
Mm, yeah, but I think maybe it might come from even on top, like from down. Then like, they tell my project manager that, hey, why is it why they doing so much?
Right, right, right.
Like
Okay, okay.
I mean, we never know where it comes from lah. We just know that we were given instructions for that
Right.
lah.
So like back to the question, like regarding like the kind of like the access. Okay, so like your team, let's say, how many people were working on that project of yours?
Oh, that's a good question. About 30 plus ah.
30 plus. Okay, so
Mm.
that actually is quite a large number. So
Mm, mm,
30
mm.
plus. Okay, so have you like calculated like okay, so in percentage wise, like I think
Yeah,
the gross
40%. Profit margin 40%.
profit. I mean like gross profit is like 40%
Yeah.
after like when you're thinking about this, when you're doing the numbers, like we're building the client at the same time.
I know lah. I
Okay,
mean, client for us works very differently. I never ever see the numbers like however much um we get built. Yeah. I will never ever see the numbers, but I can like calculate on myself lah. Yeah.
Okay, gross profit, and I guess like the rest goes to of that lah.
Nah, I don't. Yeah. Even
Okay.
bonus, my bonus was like, so they have high pay, right? But the bonus is a bit lackluster. Yeah. There's no
Mm.
AWS. There's no about AWS.
Wait, what's the AWS?
So AWS is a like 13-month bonus. AWS. So
Why?
in a month there are 4 weeks, and some months there are 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So for those months that have 5 weeks, it adds up to a new month. So technically, if you count 20 working days in a month, in a year, right, you actually have 20 times 13 lah. So yeah.
Interesting. So that means that actually the 13 month is not really like a bonus, but it's kind of like
Yeah. But they don't give us. Yeah. I guess
ah
it's like already considered in the pay, maybe. Yeah.
right. do day to day?
Okay. So it really depends on what kind of consultant you are. In in whatever you explain, right? Building decks and uh just talking your mouth, running your mouth.
Some of it is true.
It's true lah. Like I've done it before lah. So, but in the bulk of the work is still solving problems lah. Yeah, it's solving your client's problems, and that of itself might deter people, might interest people because every day there's a new problem that you need to solve. But on the other hand, it's like it's not your problem, but you're working so hard to solve it.
You're
So
solving a problem and you're getting stressed over it and you
mm,
are biting your nails over it. And I guess it has to do with deadline and your SLA as well,
mm.
your service
So
level agreement.
I think I can share this like because it's not too like confidential. I once stayed up like until like 2-3 a.m. to fix a issue, right, that basically someone in my client's network is trying to make a claim for $8. I work like 16 hours just to make sure he can get his $8 back. I was thinking like
For more context, so what was the actual issue? I mean,
world like maybe you can claim for taxi lah or meals for example. So this person tried to claim for whatever he wants to claim for, and when the system wants to pay out to him, they encountered like certain error. So
so
this
I mean that project that like your team was working kind of like a payroll management, expenses management, kind of system lines.
yeah, you could say something like that.
So so basically like the client like the people that like someone is trying to claim that $8 amount, but the
Yeah,
system is throwing an error. So
yeah,
you had to come in. You were saying midnight or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You were spending what? How many hours? 16 hours
16 hours. I think 16
16
hours
hours
like one whole day. Yeah.
to try to fix that problem. But was
Mm.
that I mean to give
It's an easy problem, but at that point in time I was new, right? So the system is very new to me. So I had to do very um I was very diligent on like how I check things and everything. So I checked every single I checked the code line by line to see what went
hmm,
wrong. And yeah, it just took me that long. But
wait, do you have a lot of coding experience? I mean, like it seems like you were going a deep dive into like the code base already. So
oh, okay. So yeah, in my line of work, right? It's not necessary, but when you have coding experience, it's much easier because every time there's a problem on like in whatever systems you use, you can always debug it. And
wait, but you are saying in a way that everyone has access to the code base, whether you have expertise or not.
yeah, that's true.
That's
For
kind of
SAP, for
dangerous
SAP, it
for
works that way.
I mean like a production and test environment separated.
No, I mean even for your any website, you can see what went wrong. When you press F12 inspect, you could see.
Oh, okay. So I mean like what you're saying is that you were just going into like the web inspector or something like that.
In my case it's not in my case I went into the SAP code base. Yeah.
All right.
The
No, but
so
I mean
we
like,
wrote the
was it like
no
production environment or what?
no, it was in the test environment. Like
Okay.
yeah. Don't worry, I didn't see any sensitive information. We split the environments up very it's very siloed. We will never ever see production data.
Oh no
We
no
just need
like
to replicate it.
it's it's sensitive data or what about, but I'm just thinking like on your end, because when they hire like essential when when they hire
Mm,
people and like a person like yourself, I think in your university, I don't think like your focus was so much on like
mm,
coding, right? So I'm just wondering, like Accenture actually provides you the access code base,
mm.
like I think like is there a possible kind of like danger or like damage that could be
Oh,
done,
we cannot change the code. We cannot write code.
inspect the code.
Yeah, it's a read only kind of file. So
Okay,
what
got it.
it have the production data, right? So I can't
Right.
really replicate the issue. That's why it took me so long. I had to read the code line by line. Okay, this thing one is not somewhere I need to look into and line by line check.
Okay. Also out of curiosity, like the workstation that you're given on that, like was it like a laptop or something that
Yeah.
you bring?
Okay. So the laptop was provided by my client.
Oh, so it's not by Accenture?
Yeah, it's not by Accenture.
Wow. So you're wait. is it because of some restrictions that
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that laptop, that particular laptop, did it have like internet connection or was it just intranet or?
There's Wi-Fi. They only recently allowed Wi-Fi because of the work from home COVID situation. Otherwise,
Right,
we had to be in our own data center, like in this environment where
right, because of the
only.
VPN and I
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't say too much who my client was, but basically we needed to be, yeah, very controlled.
right, so
Yeah.
like restricted IP and all that lah.
Mm, mm, mm.
Like was it like day-to-day problems during like the development? Like did you already have a plan of what you're gonna do, and then those problems came up, or were you actually actively solving problems from like day one before the everything, or was it all provided to you at like
Mm.
from day one?
Right. It's every day is a new day. You never know what kind of problems your clients are facing. So there are we
But
have three.
always thought that there is like, I mean, like you guys will probably scoped out the project from day one, right? So there's
Mm,
a set scope of what you need to do, and
mm,
like your problems should only be like roadblocks on
mm, mm,
how to
mm.
kind of like deliver that.
Yeah, and some things like they wanted the clients might want some upgrades to the system, so they will ask like, "Oh, is this possible?" So we on
Oh,
our
you
end we
mean
also need to check.
initial scope? So they're just throwing things like
Mm,
not part of the initial scope, is it?
yeah,
Okay.
so that's why we build them because it's out of scope. So it's like, oh, if you want this, yeah, we can help you check if we can build this. If we build this, then we need to charge you.
Oh, that means like on top of that so-called cap,
Yeah.
um, that is additional
Mm, mm,
billable.
mm. Yeah.
Got it. But when you bill them, do you get the say in how much to bill, or is it your manager, or
Oh, yeah. So we build them, right. Like we have a template, a calculator lah. So we can say like we can define like what kind of change it is, and then they will tell us, okay, this change will take however long. I think
it's like a set rate for all clients kind of thing?
uh because I only work for one,
Okay,
and for that like it's this in this one client I had many clients. It's like a big like this, but he has many small stuff here. So
right,
but in all these small stuff, we all charge the same.
right. Okay, so as long as it's the same similar kind of scope, it's like the same number of billable hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if I want to create like a new submission form or something like just an example like a login page or what lah, that is a fixed rate. No matter who asks for it, yeah,
Mm,
it's a fixed rate.
okay. So let's talk about your training, right? Like, did you receive any training when you first joined the company?
Accenture, they look for people who are curious because on from day one they provide you they give you very good professional training, meaning to say how do you speak to clients, how do you like make them happy, how do you handle difficult situations. These are all very nice, but they don't really help you do the job, right? So doing that job, uh there's no training. There's like we call it knowledge transfers. It's just a lecture by someone. They just regurgitate everything, show you what to do. But the bulk of my learning comes from me receiving a query, like me receiving like a problem, and I don't know how to solve it. I ask my my manager, lor, and he will explain to me. So uh you really need to be very thick skinned. You cannot,
Mm,
because I know a lot of Singaporeans or like even myself sometimes, like even if you don't know, you just don't ask, then you just take your time, slowly go and find figure out the answer. But it's sometimes it's just much faster and better to ask your superior, or not just superior lah, like your friends also, if they happen to know. So you just ask them, then they teach you, but you don't ask them the same question lah. You ask already, you take some notes, then you build up your library of knowledge, then slowly you get the hang of it. At the start it's going to be very difficult lah. So for me, when I started, I knew nothing about SAP. So there's a story lah, when I had a call at the start, right? It was my very first solo call. They were like, okay, Isaac, maybe you try to call this person like yourself. Not even like 5 minutes in, the person said, hey, you're new, right? Can you get someone who knows what he's doing? Wow, I
that was
felt, yeah, oh, it was a big defeat lah that day. Yeah, but you just need to have thick skin. Oh. They train you on that lah. They're saying like doesn't matter. You just go and learn, then it gets
Wait,
better.
I mean, like this is a request from your client, then you had to, actually go and get.
Yeah, I cannot take skin to my client and say, hey, no, 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 don't worry, I'll help you solve the problem. Like
Okay,
immediately she said, when the client said, hey, can I have someone who know what he's doing? Then I asked her like, hey, can you help me speak to this one? She's a bit unhappy that I am not sure what I'm doing and stuff like that. Yeah.
right. But you
Easily one of my most frustrating things about consulting, and it doesn't make sense until it does. People are asking me questions, and these kind of people have been using the systems for like 13 years already.
know,
I'm day one. It's my
mm.
first time seeing your system, and then you're asking me questions. Like, how am I supposed to know the answer? I mean, I know they didn't choose me to ask the questions, lah, but it's just I felt like I was put in this position whereby I'm supposed to solve an impossible question.
So who gave you that call? I mean, like who assigned you to that call?
Oh, my the person that I asked for help, lor. She thought like, okay, maybe I can handle it myself already.
So on hindsight, do you think that actually the call was directed to her, but she kind of like delegated it to you?
Oh, no, no, no. So the issue was issued to me, and this person wanted to speak to a consultant. Then just nice, like I was like, hey, maybe I just take this. I mean, my teammate said, maybe you can just take this yourself, lah, and give it a go. Like
Right.
learning
I mean,
experience, right?
yeah, while we're listening to your story, right, based on information that you gave me, it seems that, this case or, this issue has been assigned to you, but that's internally on Accenture side, right? So the client
Mm,
wouldn't have like any idea, like,
mm, mm,
what's
mm.
being done, who's being
Yeah.
assigned, etc. So,
Wait. Mm,
like, also what you said that your client is being paid the same rate per hour, right?
mm,
So, like, on a client side, have you ever thought that, like maybe so-called money's worth? I'm not sure even if she's thinking about it because after all, she's still an employee
mm,
there, right?
mm.
So,
Yeah.
uh, but if they were think to like things like that, do you think that no matter what, right, as long as they don't speak to someone who has handled their system like with X number of years of experience or whatever, like someone out straight away, like they know how to solve that problem already.
Mm.
Like, do you think that anything below that they'll kind of like get frustrated?
Yeah, actually, it gets frustrating sometimes for them when they speak to me. When I was new, lah. When I was new.
But I
Uh,
mean, like, is it like understandable, or do you think that even so, that seems a bit like not reasonable, like
I,
the way that they,
the way that they treat like new
yeah.
consultants, I think it's understandable, and I don't think it's any fault of theirs, And in fact, right, like if I have to do it again, I'll do it again because that's the fastest way to learn. Like,
But yeah, but shoes, and I can also put myself in their shoes because like, like development houses and whatever, right? So, I'm like paying like a fixed hour. As a business owner, it feels different already, right? But I'm just trying to think.
mm,
Okay, so I'm thinking like a business owner, and I'm assuming that her KPI is tied to some like certain things,
mm,
or
mm,
tech as well. So to like
mm,
speak to
mm,
someone
mm, mm, mm.
talking about, if not, they'll be wasting like my time, right? So and you want to learn and you want to be more on this course, but on the person on the other end, like
Yeah.
time is money.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
so
so
like
it's what we practice lah. It's for me to just shadow. So even though the call was directed to me, right, I will invite like my manager in, and my manager will speak for me, and then my manager will say, "Oh, okay, so this is Isaac's like first month here. He's just here to listen and learn and pick up the ropes." So from
okay.
there, then I start to like learn who are my clients. My
Right.
clients start to learn my name, and then yeah.
So what do you observe, right, when you ask the person that you got help from in
Mm.
Accenture? Like, what do you learn? I mean, like, were you shadowing that call as well? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
so like, what do you learn that happened differently? So what was different in that call? With your, I guess your manager,
Mm.
with like the person on the other line in SAP and your own call. Like, was there any actual difference?
Yeah, mine is like after a question, right? They will ask me a question.
I mean, is it not reasonable for if I was a client to ask, hey, can I speak to someone who knows what they're doing? I mean, like at the point of time, like is it really not reasonable enough? Really?
Yeah, I mean it's reasonable. As in I felt very like uh okay. So in Chinese it's like 委屈 but in English it's I felt very. It's
Embarrassed?
like I tried to help you, but I just cannot help you. But too bad. I'm
Right.
sorry I made you feel bad. You know.
Yeah. But what about your manager or like whoever that helped you? Like, did
Mm.
that person like I mean like did they answer the question? I mean,
Oh,
did they
okay.
give you
So that person is known to be that client was known to be a bit more difficult to deal with. So
straightforward
even
personal, I guess, ambition that kind of like made you feel butthurt? Because I suppose if someone went in there just do their job, just there to do their job, without so much ambition and all that, I don't think they'll feel that way, right? I
yeah,
mean they feel like, good, uh, months or a year,
about year and a half lah. About that.
so a year and a half. So day to day wise, was it like along this line, or was there some days that you did something a little bit different?
Mm, I was always with the same client, and every day is different lah. But every day is just solving problems. I'm just solving problems, whether or
Mm,
not it's the same kind of problem. So, uh, I was handling finance and specifically accounts payable. So that's why I had to do these claims and stuff, right? So accounts payable issues. Then slowly I expanded my range of like my expertise to
mm.
do everything else. So they kind of like tried to make me into like a accounts payable slash finance SME
By
subject
the way,
matter expert.
this just crossed my mind. Okay, so
Mm.
SAP is kind of like a Salesforce kind of
Mm. Salesforce is a CRM, right? Customer Relationship Management
yeah,
platform.
more than
Mm.
that's
SAP is a enterprise resource planning platform.
okay. So it's an ERP platform.
Yeah.
But then they got Accenture to build them something or to like
Mm.
maintain something. Um, okay, so I'm just thinking like because they already offer this product to clients to use, right?
Mm. Mm-mm.
So they also need Accenture's help to manage the products that
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
don't
because
do it
it's much cheaper. It's much cheaper for them because right,
Mhm.
uh, the little kids,
Okay.
if they hired in each 20 little kids, they hired people to help them,
Hmm.
and then they had to multiply the cost by 20.
Right. So
But
in a
for
sense,
us, we are just one sweatshop doing 20. What?
but this sweatshop is quite specialized because they hire also within Accenture, they hire for all those different specialized roles and everything.
Mm, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So in a sense that it actually, in the grand scheme of things, it actually saves like enterprises money to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's hard for like have like at the service, cause
right,
if,
and not get worried about like HR issues or anything, right? Because like they can just
mm,
shout at you on call and all that, and like no big deal. For
um lady,
Mhm,
she will never say no. She don't
mhm,
know how to say no. So this
mhm,
client was kind of like pushing her lah. Basically, the issue was that they felt that this change should be free, but we
mhm.
cannot. We needed to charge for it. I think like 2 months in or maybe 3 months in. I fucking came in like a white knight like that. Now try to like defend my because okay lah, I had to step in and like speak slower and feel like I got this, like very composed, very calm and stuff like that.
But in the sense you were doing that not because you wanted to save Accenture's money, but because you wanted to save your colleagues time, or
Mm, okay, so remember I told you about like we from the higher up that there was a directive to ask us to stop doing things for free.
right? So
Yeah.
so okay, but what is like the main reason why you did so as
Oh,
such?
I don't think it's because I'm trying to follow the directive lah. I think it's because of like how I feel that
Like you
we are getting
feel that
pushed over. Yeah.
like I mean like you did care for your colleague, that's
Mm.
why you
Mm. I mean, okay, so in any case, even if we were in the wrong, probably would have stepped in to like just ease the situation. But it's
right.
just that on this in this instance, we were trying to fight for something that like I believe was right lah. Like we were in the right. So that's why I was more firm, like more.
So I would say that okay, because I'm just trying to understand like the motive here, right? So was
Mm,
it because of your own not talking on behalf of SAP, not talking on behalf of Accenture? I think that this is right based on what I've heard so far. Or was it more of like, okay, I see my colleague, she's quite sad. I mean, like getting bullied like that. Then I kind of like want to help her in that situation, like kind of like protect her in that situation? Or
Mm,
is it was like, okay, I know that this directive is there. I know that, like SAP is like losing any more money, if they are
mm,
not
mm, mm. Self righteousness, but I also wouldn't say is about helping Accenture. I'll give you a third option, and I was saying that I was strategizing my career.
interesting. So
Yeah.
so tell me more about that. Like, I mean, like, what do you mean by strategizing
So
your? Yeah.
in and someone has to get it back, and I was the new kid, right? So if I'm able to show my dominance and to show her like, hey, Isaac can handle himself
Wait,
in
show who? Show your colleague or show the client?
both, but more
How?
importantly, my colleague lah.
I mean, like, wouldn't the client like the bully and get it their way?
Yeah. No, but it works for me also, ma. Because in the end, next time I have to talk to the client, ma. So he will know like, okay, this Isaac, he he got some standard one or something lah. Like it's very self. I would say it's a more selfish thing to do lah. Basically, I strategize and say like,
Okay, so it's like you think, I mean, on hindsight, right? Because all this happens in a quick, like, in a split
mm,
second, right? So, but on you think that what you did on that day, on hindsight, you think that you did it out of self-interest first.
mm, mm, yeah,
Okay,
I would say that. Yeah,
okay, got it. Okay,
yeah.
so
Always be strategizing, man.
so I mean, like, but I can see that if your colleague is like that, I don't think a someone who can think like that, right? Because if your
Mm,
client as a whole, I mean, I'm just making assumption. They do hire from a very broad spectrum. Like they don't
mm,
hire deal closers everywhere.
yeah,
Basically,
that's true. Oh, they even hire handicapped people. You know, like people who are deaf. Two people who have like hearing disability.
okay. So, but I'm assuming that they won't put the guy with hearing problems on a call with like the
Wait,
client.
you no. The person who has the hearing deficiency, right? She is a director, so principal.
Okay, so director principal equals to partner.
Yeah.
Hearing deficiencies, difficulties, but she made partner.
Yeah, and okay, even my client, right? Mute.
Do you think?
They are both speaking, right? There can be the subtitles coming out. Yeah.
Okay, so she kind of like, you think she relies on that, or that she relies on that?
I know she relies on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and there's another. Okay, so that one is her, right? Her, because she got explained before how she did it. So that one I learned from her. Then my client who is mute, right? She
Your
has
client.
My client is mute. I didn't know, until I met her the first time. I said hi, then she like did a hand sign. Like I really she waved.
Her online in Microsoft Meet.
No, in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I just didn't know. Like I was like I said hi. So she's deaf and mute. I said hi sound, right, and then afterwards I found like there's this cool technology. So if you are deaf and mute, right, and if there's a deaf and mute person in the call in Teams, there can be an AI that does the sign language. Yeah,
Wait,
like,
in real time.
yeah, in real time.
So how is it like transmitted? Like I mean, like, because she's deaf, she's mute. So how is the AI able to pick up like what the hell she's saying?
I have no idea. I really so I yes.
You just said that you met her in person.
Yeah, I met her in person, but I don't know how the system works.
Wait. You.
She was having a call. So I saw it play out.
Oh, okay. So you met her while she was having a call
Mm.
on Microsoft Teams on her laptop,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and then there is this AI.
Yeah.
That is, oh, okay. So the AI is transmitting information to her.
Yes. And
Not the other way around.
yeah, it's only for her to see. It's only for her to see.
So she replies, I suppose, by typing.
Yeah, I would say so because when we communicate, she just types. I don't see any sign language come to me.
Oh, right. Okay. So you got to see on the other end of what she sees, and then
Mm.
you saw this AI, cool software that
Mm. It's
can do
like
this.
just another like now there's this QD note taker, right? So
Mm.
there's just this other bot there who is like who is a human like a human AI,
That's
and they're
interesting.
just still doing the yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but she still has to type now, basically.
Yeah, she has to type
So when
yeah.
you person, what's the point of it when she has to type?
What's the point of it? What I mean?
I
Come
mean,
again?
in person, meaning that you had to have a conversation with her in person.
Oh yeah, when we spoke in person, right? We use paper to write. uh,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. So she has like a stack of
Reply
Yeah,
like
she's
in
a director, by the way. Yeah,
oh really?
we meet a lot of like very hardworking people, and like yeah, it just it there is a double-edged sword, right? Seeing all these hardworking people, like wow, they work their ass off, work their life away, and then you know that okay, they get maybe 7K, 10K.
Are you saying that wait so is she like a Singaporean or is she like
Singaporean.
okay so work the ass off then get 7 8 8K then you saw that part of it and then what's going through your mind at that
Yeah,
point in
I'm
time?
like, okay, if I put myself in that situation, I need to work like this 12, 16 hours a day, right? And then the trajectory, right, career trajectory is very fixed lah. Like you kind of know when you will earn, like at what age you will earn how much and stuff like that. Then I was thinking like, is this really what I want or not? Then yeah, it got me very depressed lor. Got me
Yeah,
really, really depressed. Yeah.
where like the 1.5 years mark then you felt a little bit depressed because of the
Mm.
trajectory of your career.
Yeah, so I think within the 1 year mark, right? Okay, maybe a bit shorter, like 8 months in, half my journey in. I already realized that because I came okay. I wouldn't say like before it was cool to talk about like fire. You know now people talk.
Oh, fire movement, okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah. So I think back in when I was 17, so that's like 11 years ago. I was already planning to like, oh, how can I have like passive income? How can I like not work
Right.
and stuff like that? Like at that point in time when I talk about it, right? People will say, "Hey, so lazy, ah." But now it's I like everyone's trying to have this like this dream. So I I would I brought this up because I want to tell you that when I had this kind of mindset, like this fire movement, like a passive income thing mindset for very, very long already. Then when I compare it to like where I am at that point in time in Accenture, it's like it's very, very different from what I dreamed of.
Mm.
And in Accenture, you need to work very hard. Then like it's like wow, but fuck, I need to work so hard and like it feels so depressing. And I seeing my manager work his ass off like that, and his pay is less than 10. So seeing him work until like that, it's like wow, it's so depressing. It's like I don't know if I ever want.
um your manager both your managers they are foreign talents, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you think it kind of like I mean the trade-off was worth it because at the end of the day like I suppose that they don't plan to retire in Singapore. I mean I don't think they plan to stay like very very long term in Singapore, but they can very much fire back home, like
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah, I okay. I think in their scenario, yeah lah, they can live very comfortably when they retire. They can even like
right.
retire early. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like per dollar that he earned, it's worth so much more, back such
Mm.
that like that's why domestic workers they actually like working in Singapore, right? I mean like I can't say that like the motivation is very different because back home that same pay, right? For example, in Singapore, like it depends on how much you pay your maid, but like for example, if they earn like $600, like Singapore a month, right? Back home, they work an office job, right, with university degrees and everything, and it's going to be a competitive environment of like 270 million people, etc. So to them, like just going to Singapore, right, work in Singapore, just help out with house chores,
Mm.
which they already probably know how to do back
Mm.
home,
Mm.
right? Just all that and maybe slowly learn like a new language, although it's not necessary. And of course, be away from family, right? But $600, is actually quite a lot.
Mm.
When you think about it, it's actually more than office jobs.
That's
Back
true.
home. So I mean,
Oh,
like,
what the office?
then I mean, taking in the context of like foreign talents who are very educated, coming over here, they're earning honestly a very high income, like $8,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. Honestly, in Philippines, you can't even get that as like like almost maybe at like level already. So
Right.
like that, them like I mean like they have something to compare to, like they have that to compare to. But as a Singaporean, I can understand why you say that. Oh, like because say it's like oh they're just earning like 7 8K to
Mm.
you. because of the high cost of living here, and you have
Mm.
no way out. Like you can't go back to your kampong or something like that, right? Like Singapore is your kampong, so
Yeah.
uh, it's a very expensive kampong. So in that sense, don't you think that these people when they are working at ASOS, I'm discounting Singaporeans, of course, right? These people who are working at ASOS, they have actually real logical reason, like Johorians coming to Singapore earning three times, that's scary, yeah. No, it's like
Mm.
three times. Yeah,
Yeah.
but crazy, right? Like, I mean, don't you think that uh it's a little bit like, yeah, I mean, obviously, right? Like if I go to another country, like imagine as a Singaporean right now, you earn like 5 point something. Then if you get an offer in, let's say, New York or something, of course it's not accurate, but let's say New York, then they pay you like three times more. Like, don't you think that you're like, okay, I'm just gonna work my ass off, like
Yeah.
it's
I,
worth it,
I I can imagine it. I can imagine it. Yeah.
mean, okay, so let's discount them, right? But let's maybe talk about the Singaporeans who you also see, very hardworking.
Mm.
Uh, I suppose they get paid slightly higher than like that level because they're Singaporeans, right? So Singapore,
I
like
not too
MNC.
sure about that lah. I'm not too sure.
Okay, but let's assume like they get paid slightly more, maybe slightly more, right?
Mm. Mm.
That's fair, right? So, for these people, when you see them work very hard, why do you think they do it? I mean, like, is there no other opportunity out there, or do you think, you know,
Mm. In consulting, you kind of want to be made a director lah, because it enables you to enter the profit sharing of the company, right?
40%?
Yeah. Uh, Good motivator lah, because you know it's reachable. You can yeah, the way.
Or actually get to the top?
Sorry.
Because I mean, how many people actually get to the top because there's only so few spots?
Mm,
Point of
yeah,
time,
I
right?
mean there are the profit sharing don't start only when you're at the top. Like
Right.
even in management level, you can get some profit sharing. Some lah, not a lot lah.
For you to go to manager level, what is the trajectory for you in terms of number of years?
Uh, 7 years
7 years. So
From the start, yeah.
you basically have to like work your way
Mm.
as hard as diligent as possible, not to make any career mistakes for 7 years to
Mm.
get to top,
Yeah, and to make director or principal, it's about 15 lah.
right? But I guess there's also a trick, right? Where that's why people job hop, right? And they job hop, they kind of like scale up by 1 year or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I heard of people who like we call it boomerang. So you go there, like you. Let's say I'm a analyst now. Then
Right?
before I get promoted, I jump to another one to be a senior analyst. Then before I get promoted there, I come back to be like a manager. You know?
In the structure.
Yeah, I know people who do that.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So
Yeah,
that's why they
so
call it a boomerang, right?
yeah, boomerang.
Yeah.
And people don't just boomerang once. They can boomerang a few times.
I mean, essentially, that is like a strategy, right? I mean, like that's a
Yeah,
career.
that's a career. Mm.
Right, but that if it works and helps you shave off a year or
Mm.
two, why not? I mean, isn't that
Yeah,
like a normal thing right now?
yeah. I mean,
But there's
it
a risk, right? I mean, there's a risk that you can't get back or something like that, right?
Oh, I think they people back quite quickly. Yeah,
Right.
there's a there's like a backdoor for all the 背叛者, the traitors.
Well, I mean, like essentially, it's like kind of like a known thing in the industry. Your HR knows it, everyone knows it. It's kind of like okay, well, because our policy has not updated. I mean, like we don't want to pay you anymore or something like that. So why not? Like you can just go then come back later. Like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's actually when it's like no hard feelings on. It's like any day of the job. Like when I
Oh,
left, right, my manager.
that they got some better opportunity somewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
and they can just come back anytime if they want. Cause
So that whole definition of like scaling the corporate ladder is actually scaling a few ladders. Right. So you just climb on one ladder, then you jump to another ladder, then you just climb.
yeah, but so the reason actually okay, it's not just about like climbing up the ladder that people come back to Accenture. The stories I hear I don't know how true but they just say like Accenture is the best place. They go
Mm,
out, then they realize that okay outside is not as good as Accenture, so just come back to Accenture lor.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So
mm.
my I know of this guy lah who went out and came back. So he went from Accenture to NTU, then back to Accenture.
Sorry, what? So he's from NTU. Then
Uh,
he
yeah, so NTU had their own SAP system that they needed to manage. So they brought in an in-house uh consultant, which was
right.
that guy lah.
So
Then the
he, I mean, like representing himself already, but taking his experience from Accenture to NTU.
mm, mm, mm. Then
Got it.
he in the end he came back cause it's better here.
Right. Okay. And I mean, like you mentioned that you were feeling depressed. I mean, like, was it like depression or was it like
Oh yeah. Okay, trigger warning but I did contemplate like suicide.
but
Yeah.
why? Like, I mean, like,
It's like I just felt like if life is just like that, oh fuck, like what's the point?
but
It's
why your life was like that when I mean, like, it's a job, like, I mean, you got a very good head start, right? Like you got a good start. So then you just figured that okay, like in terms of like career progression, it's not what you expected, or
mm,
it's basically harder than it seems. Then you see like kind of like a cap ceiling, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, like you saw all that, but I mean, like, what was making you feel depressed? What
Mm.
exactly was making you feel depressed? Because you can just change job or like just go somewhere else. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
okay, so I did think about the change job thing, but I was just thinking like can I even get a better pay than here or not, Like
right,
there's sorry, there was like a lot of like self-doubt, right? Because uh we are brought up in this in Singapore we are brought up to know that private uni not that good stuff like that. So when you have that at the back of your mind, it's like, oh, if this company gave me a chance, like nobody else would, Why? Like
mm.
there's this uh imposter syndrome lah. Yeah.
So do you feel like guilty also that you felt that okay, this opportunity is like once in a lifetime given to you, and then now you want to leave it, or I mean, like now
Mm,
you're
mm, mm.
leaving
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. So it's like I did feel very bad that I'm leaving it, and you know I battle the thoughts that, oh, did I make the wrong decision? If I stayed, I essentially like although I might hate my job, but my life is sad. You know, it's it's not like I will retire like I can I can retire and like have millions of dollars. Like okay, I think I did the calculation. I can like amass like maybe 2 million easy, like 2 million in 20 years, and then the 2 million can help me like be a passive income 40 to 80 thousand dollars a month, a year.
20 years.
20 years, yeah. Like I have
Okay.
a portfolio strategy which like we call it drip, right? So dividend dividend reinvesting.
What you're saying is about like on average. I mean, like of course you don't start out from the same. I mean, like there is definitely like income progression, but like so you're saying it's like 100K a year. Like you are gonna save up 100K a year.
I mean, I wasn't going to say 100K a year, but it's like my portfolio can grow into 2 million. Yeah,
Okay.
by adding like 1 to 2K a month every month, like
Mm.
eventually it can grow to 2 million. So like I I forecasted this portfolio that gives like this kind of like dividend returns, and then I took the average of like the S&P and stuff like that and just aggregated it.
Right. So you're just assuming that okay, you're just gonna chunk your money in like S&P and like that's gonna give you that 2 million
Uh,
and
it it is part of the S&P. Only 20 stocks, 20 like dividend stocks. Yeah.
got it. So in a sense, you wanted to sort of exit in like in 20 years, and that's kind of like I mean, like you didn't see any other way. I mean, like probably because you conquered like okay, like to you 20 years is like you must stay in it for 20 years, right? The
Mm,
in between, okay, I'm just gonna leave because that's gonna ruin your 2 million goal, right? So
yeah.
was
So
that part of like why you felt you were stuck?
and I mean that was, and also it's like um how do I put it? I I felt like maybe I felt greedy lah, not just stuck also. It's like, and stuff like that. Then it kind of besides the doubt, the self doubt, there's also the side of me whereby saying maybe I can get something better. Maybe I can, maybe I'm good enough to run my own business, to start something, and maybe maybe it's like just naive thinking lah. But yeah, I just in the end took the step, to the pill. But
Another
when
question. Sorry, go on.
yeah, so when I was not feeling too great mentally, uh I think because this topic I think is very important. Some people might feel the same way, like they feel like trapped in their job and everything. I having gone through it, right? Uh I have to spoiler alert lah, like before I left the company, I already felt good. So how I felt better, right, was just pushing through. Yeah. Yeah, it just so it was month 8 that I felt bad, right? Then
Mhm.
maybe there was like 3 months of this kind of off and on kind of episodes lah. Maybe
Mm.
like I just suddenly cry, suddenly just break down, and then like I had to go for like walks in the park with my partner, and then like just let everything out. Then
Your part.
sorry, not Accenture's partner, my girlfriend, yeah, my romantic partner, that just explain to her like, oh, what, how am I feeling, everything, just talk it out.
Mhm.
Then uh just take one day at a time, slowly. uh
Was he in the same line as you?
oh no, my girlfriend is in HR. Yeah,
Also in corporate HR.
yeah, corporate. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm,
so basically like the 3 months on and off, you were feeling and you were going through like kind of like a mental breakdown and probably some anxiety and all that.
mm, mm,
So in a sense, you just mentioned that you just pull through, and I guess like your partner also has something to do with it as well
mm,
to
mm,
swing
mm,
in and everything. But do you actually raise it up to anyone in your company, or do you think that it was against, I mean, your interest because you talk about career progression, right? So if you
mm,
told anyone,
mm.
you felt it weak, in that sense. Like, do you ever
Uh,
feel that way?
yeah. It did cross my mind. Okay, so I have to say that we have channels to go to if we ever need like mental health kind of support.
Or provided by the company?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can engage in counselors and stuff like that lah. And um, that says something, right? If a company has to have that kind of platform so easily available. But
Right.
because I was not even a year in, I was thinking like, wow, if 1 year in and this guy already like cannot take it, then how?
But was it like on your own self belief, or do you think that actually there's, like, okay, if I were you, then I also think if I go to like the official company provided so-called helpline, they will report it to my supervisors, or like there will be some kind of like note
Oh
there.
no, I didn't think about that lah. I didn't think about like whether or not my if I were to do that, my managers will find out. Even if they find out, like I know that there will be a very like empathetic response.
Okay,
But that was not what I want. I want them to know that like I'm good, you know.
right,
I'm like I'm strong.
right,
Yeah. So I'm not afraid that they see me as a lesser employee,
right,
because I don't think they will. But it's just I just want them to be able to trust me that I'm good. Yeah.
right. So it's kind of like you don't want to let them down, or don't want to let them have any thoughts that you were not capable enough.
I guess you could say that lah. In that sense, I'm afraid lah. I'm afraid of that lah. Yeah.
Right, right. So you're afraid of that, happening, and it's not so much about your career progression anymore, right? I mean,
Oh no, it's all about my career progression.
it's so in a sense, enough, you're afraid that that would impact your career progression as well.
Yeah.
Then and then it kind of like self fulfills itself because you know that you can't get to your goal in like 20 years unless everything's perfect. But then if you tell them and then they know about it and it affects your progression, then you are going to think more.
Yeah. Mm.
It's kind of
That's the thing. Yeah, it's
like
a
okay,
vicious cycle, right? Like of like self doubt and just bad stuff. But
okay.
yeah, it just um, get just I
But
don't
I
know
mean
if
like I mean like now now when you're out of think back. right, of all those people that you mentioned that were hardworking there, who worked their way to the top, don't you think that at some point of time in their career they also went through something like that? Like, do you think
Mm.
it's possible? Like probable? Like I mean, like
Yeah,
how probable?
yeah. I believe everyone felt that way before. Maybe not to a drastic extent of like wanting to eat yourself.
Mhm.
Like I think one way or another, someone will feel like burnt out. Definitely in consulting, I think every analyst will feel that way. Every analyst, I'm very sure. Even those that party very hard, and then are so sociable that they plan all the analyst events. I
Oh,
can
those,
like you can imagine, right?
those kind of people. Okay, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you can imagine those kind of people like in the analyst group chat say, "Hey guys, want to go rock climbing?" or all that stuff.
I can imagine like those kind of people. They are in even in the university. They are some leader of their frat clubs and all that, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can imagine, right, those kind of people. Like, I'm very sure even those kind of people will feel that way. They just it's just that they maybe use this as an avenue of like, feeling better.
because for you, you were thinking about the fire movement and everything already, and you're
Mm,
thinking about I want to make like let's say $2 million, and the capital to sort of like stir my passive income and all that. So you already had like a goal
mm,
in mind, like, like somewhere 8 months,
mm,
of the journey,
mm,
right? So, but not everyone maybe has that goal, right?
yeah.
So and like everyone goes through this point where they feel very overwhelmed, they feel burnt out and everything, and somewhere along the line they also had similar thoughts, maybe not as intense as what you had,
Mm,
they share similar thoughts, similar moments in their career. So why do you think that the case is, right? Like, because for you, I guess it's because you felt you were so far away from your goal. I don't think it was like the day-to-day problems that you had in your
mm,
job, right?
yeah.
So do you think it's kind of like different reason?
I okay, so the decision to just leave lah, I guess, so to speak. I need to find out what's the name of it. But I think it's called Obsidian something. You heard of
What
it?
what are you referring to?
It's called the Obsidian graph. Like for decision making of like like
Or is it
yeah, it's to like see your life trajectory. Yeah, like so the it's an exercise to do lah. You 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 first take the example of like, okay, if I stay in my job, what's going to happen in 5 years, 30 years? Then if I
okay?
do what I love to do, what's going to happen in 5 years, 30 years? And then if I do something which I don't know, like that, if money is not a concern, what will I be doing in 5 years and 30 years? Something like that. I think it's called Obsidian Graph or
Okay, we need to come back to that.
mm,
That sounds that sounds useful.
mm. So I did the exercise and I realized that staying in Accenture is not what I want. Like 5 years down the road, because Accenture you really can plan, like you really know what's going to happen. Like 5 years down the road, I'll be earning maybe seven, eight, nine. Yeah. So that and I'll be working like 16 hours. So I was
Mm.
thinking, oh, how do I feel about it? Because I can imagine myself now, like I just see my manager, if I have his life, how will I feel? I was like, no, I really that's not what I want. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. I think at the point of time, you felt that okay, the opportunity that you got at that point of time was one of the best, really, right? Like I mean, like best meaning like in the like, is it a Singapore thing? No, right?
I don't think so lah. It's in like those kind of subreddits that talk about finance one. Oh,
okay,
anyway, it's not Obsidian Plan. It's called Odyssey Plan.
Odyssey plan. Okay,
Yeah,
C plan. Interesting.
yeah, and uh, yeah. So uh, yeah, talking about that, like thinking about like what are my options, right? Since I already reached the top or whatever you can say, like reach the top of what I can achieve. Yeah, then the next thing is to just pivot, right? So I was like, okay, I think tech would be the best way, like software engineering and stuff like that. Since I already have some kind of idea on what like how to read code, I just need to be able to write it better. So uh, I picked decided to, yeah, to take the leap of faith. Or
Mm. So, but you were saying that you were at a much better state already, right? So,
So I
can you
was
explain,
able to think clearly. Or I was able to think like, okay, maybe, yeah,
like
I can
any
find.
medication, anything like that, like to help
Sorry,
you manage?
can I come again?
Like, were you on any kind of like medication or anything to help you manage and go
Oh
through that?
no, I didn't take any medication. I took
So,
hey, I don't know if you know this term. I took copium. I don't know. All the Gen Zs will understand. It's like
okay, I am not a Gen Z. What?
there's a term called copium. COPIUM.
I am learning so many things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a term for you to say like, oh, this guy is like, yeah.
So it's like you are giving yourself good vibes.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I was just trying to like convince myself, hey, it's okay, don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, you're doing good, Isaac. Like it's
But
okay.
that must take you some kind of like mental clarity and some kind of like, I don't know, like you must be in a certain state to even think like that, right? Like I mean, like you must be aware, you must be self, and you must also be me to do that and tell myself this, and it's like reinforcement, like
Mm-mm. Yeah, because I I attribute that to having a relationship. Because
mm,
this person is always there to check out on you, right? And um I had this like mood tracker also lah on Notion. So I can track like how often do I feel bad. So
wow.
like, yeah.
Can you maybe share with us like some insights on your mood tracker?
Or like how it works, is it?
Yeah, like how it works, and I mean, like for you to find like even like the Odyssey planner, and then for you to do track your mood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like it seems that you were at that point of time, you were not feeling yourself, you were feeling a bit down and everything, but at the same time you know that you needed to get yourself out of there, right?
Yeah.
You
So I think
right.
that's
So,
the maybe
so
that's the consultant in me trying to solve my problem.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like tell everyone like how you got the idea to go through all this, like get the Odyssey planner out,
Hmm.
and then, like write down your moods, track your moods.
Hmm. Uh, for me, I always felt like self improvement is like I always grew up with like self improvement. I don't know if you remember. I mean, for those who don't know, Alex and I were in the same secondary school,
Mhm.
and the first time that I was introduced to this kind of like self uh improvement thing was through our leadership camp, where they taught 7 habits.
Okay, me, I thought you were going to say Adam Cool.
No, 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 no. Our leadership camp, I think it was taught by my seniors.
Mhm.
Like what 7 habits of highly effective people.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we taught you guys also. I'm not sure. That would be the other exco batch lah that teach you all.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't remember lah. I don't know if your batch did it, but we did it.
I don't remember too, but I read the book like many years after. So
Yeah, so that got me started on like, I can be a better person than I was like last time. Like I can always be a better person. So this mindset always has been there. So when I felt depressed, all this, like the instinct kicked in, like, oh, I need to find ways to make myself better. Like I know that this situation is not ideal and I need to change it.
mm,
So through that, then I find strategies. So yeah, some insights on my mood tracker, right? I tag it with my habit tracker. So whether or not
a table,
I sorry?
like do you create like a table,
Yeah.
like
So
eight
every day has check boxes whether or not I complete these habits. And then
habit? So not so much about what you're feeling.
then there's a column where I tell myself I at the end of the day I say whether or not I feel happy or sad.
What's one example of a habit?
Okay, so I can list them all. So first habit, wake up early. Second habit, go to the gym. Another habit is study. I don't know why I put study.
Wait. Is that supposed to make you happier? I mean, like because you're feeling quite depressed and down. So all these habits, are they supposed to make you happier or what?
Uh
Like it doesn't
to
correlate.
to me, right? Like I as long as it's not work, I do something which is not work and it like helps me to improve some part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
it will make me happy.
Mm.
Yeah. So waking up early was because I read that if you are a morning person you're happier or something like that lah.
Mm.
But I think on hindsight I think it's because of the vitamin D's and all that stuff that you get from the sun. Then yeah.
It- to give people context, when you wake up early in Singapore, the sun isn't even out yet. So
Yeah, but that's why okay, my early was 7:30 lah.
okay, okay, 7:30 lah. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So what I do is I keep track on how many of these activities I did and whether or not how what's my general mood. Then to see whether or not if I continue these habits, do I generally get happier or what? Yeah.
Mm.
Uh
So
I did
maybe to sidetrack a bit. So
uh,
what made you happier? Like, I mean, what work?
what work? I could see that I feel happier if I have social interactions.
Okay, so clearly not waking up early in the morning.
Yeah. So I have some comments at the side. I got some comments at
Okay.
the side. Yeah. When if I feel happy, right, usually uh I don't wake up early. Yeah. It's not that I wake up. If I wake up later or like I wake up naturally, I feel happier.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I talk to someone who I don't know,
Okay, so
yeah,
wait, then you feel happy. I mean,
I don't know, but I debunked it for myself. I have no idea why.
okay. So anyway, like sleeping is out. Then what's the second thing? Like, I mean, like, give us like a list and tell us what worked. So we kind of like get this insight as well.
Yeah, I
So we
think
can experiment ourselves.
mm, so I think what feels good to me now and then is if I can wake up on my own terms. So
Okay.
working a job, right? You have to log in by like 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one already like kind of you start your day having to meet a deadline, which is to log in. Yeah. So for me, if let's say I'm able to wake up naturally, right? If let's say you're still in your job, right? If you're able to wake up naturally at 8, like I think you will generally still be happier. So if you're stuck in a job and you want to be happier, maybe change your don't don't wake up just so you can hit your like can go to your job. Like you
It's
wake
like,
up so that you can do something else first.
so you situation where you were like rushing to waiting to rush kind of thing.
E- Waiting to rush. I don't know if I was waiting to. I was sleeping. Then I was sleeping to rush lah.
To what time you wake up naturally, lah, right? I mean, is it
Yeah. Yeah,
okay?
so I think waking up naturally is something okay, I mean I'm not a scientist lah, so I don't have any research to back up all of this. It's just my own experience. I just need to say this first. It's not like medical advice or whatever. Yeah, just waking up naturally, you feel better. Yeah. And it's okay if you wake up late. Just make use of whatever time you have left.
Mm.
Then going to the gym. Yeah. Although like forcing yourself to wake up early is like it backfired on me. But if I force myself to go to the gym, it works. Yeah.
Just to give some context, like, how far away is your gym?
My gym is like maybe 30 to 45 minutes away.
And that's by a bus.
By train. So it's going to the
Right.
gym is a 3 hour affair for me.
I mean, like including travel time and
Yeah.
shop. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it. So you found some time to go to the gym while you're working there at Accenture?
Yeah, at night. So once I cut off work, then I go to the gym. Then I come back and then like have a nice like salad dinner, then sleep.
Okay. So basically, like waking up early, then after that, then you go straight to work.
No, not waking up early. I wake up naturally.
Oh, wait, no, but one of your goal was, or one of your habit was waking up early, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you debunk that, and then you say, that, okay, I would rather wake up naturally, and that made me feel happier.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm trying to understand that your habit and where it fits into your daily life. So I'm
Oh,
just
so
trying to think.
as a consultant, right? Like last time, it would be I wake up naturally about 8:30. Then I know that I'm still early for work, or I can like take a long shit. Like I can be on the toilet for longer, scroll my social media, and then when I'm ready, then I log into my computer.
Okay. So
Actually, I would log into my computer first, lah, because if I log into the computer, it says that I'm online, right? So
right.
once I'm there online already, I don't really care. I just chill and
Right.
do everything. Then when
Right.
I come back, yeah, everyone starts to come online. Then work starts. Then when work start, right, like it's very quick one, because like your day as a consultant is very very quick. You one blink of an eye, the day is gone. Cause you're always on like move, 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 move. Yeah.
Mm.
Then end work on time, go to a gym. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so end more on time. So you were not working that 16 hours at that point of time. You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just
Uh,
like 8 hours
mm,
kind of.
I was very respectful of like my time.
Okay, then after that, then you head to the gym. Okay, so that's the first two things on your habit list,
Mm.
right? So you debunk the first one. What about the second one?
Second thing that I debunk.
Gym, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. As in like must go to a gym. Like even if you don't want to go to a gym, go to a gym.
But did that make you feel happier?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Looking at the girls, just kidding.
Hey,
uh,
hey, that's another habit already. But
uh, okay, I feel like okay when I go to the gym, right? Like mm, just to put into context, my gym has classes, so it's akin to like going for like spin class or like any kind of um fitness HIIT class. So going there, it felt I listen to music which like fast paced, like it relaxes me a little bit. Although it's very loud, right? But it still it feels more relaxing than hearing a client like talk to you. So that was great. And then the what I like is the after the workout where your body is like tired. Like cause sometimes when okay, I don't know if you guys feel it, but sometimes your mind is tired, but your body is still very active. I don't know if you
mm,
ever feel that way. So yeah,
okay.
like maybe you have some headache, right? But you know like you're not your day is not done yet, you still want to do things.
Mm,
So going to exercise it puts my mind and my body equally tired. Then when I go back I sleep better.
right. Well, like I also have like another kind of like way of looking at it. Okay, so you basically found it like tedious, right? To basically stick to like a schedule of like logging in at like 9 a.m.
Mm,
And then you kind of like figured that like I mean like your whole day passed quickly, meaning that you were super busy, right? You were sticking to like a schedule and everything, and then you ended on time. And then basically there was an objective of the day, right? So you managed to clear it, and then you're feeling like mentally exhausted, right?
mm,
On the other hand, right after that, you had another schedule to go to, right, which is like your gym because you had some particular classes, right, that you need
mm.
to,
Oh,
you know,
that that's different though. That schedule is I choose one.
right. But you just think about it, okay. So in a sense, like you kind of like know what you're getting into, like in the job. Like I'm just trying to make a comparison, and I'm just trying to see if activity you're like busy as hell, right? Like either you are like like doing spin, or either you are like working your ass off and all that,
Mm.
and it's a noisy environment in a sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Fast-paced, noisy environment.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, and then you come out tired, physically or mentally, right?
Mm.
So just thinking, like on one makes you happy. On the other hand, one doesn't make you happy. So
Mm.
the difference that I see is that on one hand, work, right, is that you are solving problems that is not congruent to what you want to do, right? Like what you want to solve.
Mm.
Like, you're not interested in the problems, right? But you're only doing it because of career progression. It's like a means to an end,
Mm.
right? You go to spin, you know that you're working on yourself. You know that you are going there to feel better. You are going there for yourself, right? This is
Mm.
for
Mm.
me.
Mm.
Like not so
Mm.
much about spin, not so much about work, but it's kind of like, you're slogging out hours, you're feeling tired, you are sticking to a schedule. I mean,
Mm.
all those are similarities that I see.
Mm.
At the same time, the biggest difference that I see, I mean, of course, there are other differences, but the biggest difference that I see is that on one hand, you're doing something that intrinsically you don't really want to do day to day, right? In terms of
Right.
actually slogging out. On the other hand, you're slogging out on like spin, like doing something that you actually were there and you want to do it, and you know that it's directly impacting you,
Mm.
right? Like
Yeah.
your health. So I
That's
don't
a
know,
good
like
point.
made that comparison. I'm just
Mm.
thinking, like, does it make sense? Do you think there's any link to
Yeah,
what?
I think the point you brought up about you're always more willing to work for on a problem that is your problem, right? And um you can see it very obviously lah. Like founders, they always work very hard, right? And they work harder than normal workers, right? And they don't seem to complain, because it is it's something that they are it's a problem that they choose to solve.
Mm,
Yeah. I think summarize it in a way by, if you want to be happy, you choose problems that you want to solve, or don't solve things that you are not interested in.
mm,
Yeah. So I think that's about like the happiness, or like how he just made it a point whereby, although his book is the about not giving a fuck, but he's saying that you should give a fuck about things that you care about.
right. So it's basically caring and solving problems related to things that are closely tied to
Mm,
your, I guess, like your beliefs or
mm,
your, maybe to a certain extent, your abilities, or like what you think your abilities are.
mm,
And then basically just your interests, I guess,
mm,
like
mm, mm.
that, kind of
Yeah.
like a few points. Okay, but on hindsight, do you think that I mean, like, why you feel like, honestly, to me, it's like activity, like two different activities, going to work and going to spin. Um, the structures are similar. Oh, activities definitely different.
Mm,
Structures are similar, but on one hand, you're feeling a bit down, and on the other hand, I think you can go spin for a long time. And keep constantly. I don't know, I mean, like, just looking at it from outside, like it's quite
mm.
strange,
I Yeah,
Notice.
I guess you could say that lah, but like to me there's a key difference, and that key difference is like the choice, or like it's my choice to go to the gym, and when I do it right, I feel good because I decided to go to the gym, and I forced myself to go to the gym, like because it's good for me. But maybe
Force yourself to go to work.
yeah, maybe I should have framed it that way. I force myself to go to work, so it's good for me. I get paid. Yeah, I,
I
I
mean,
I I should have thought of that.
at the end of the day, do you think it's just a frame of mind?
Definitely. Cause in like uh, right now, right, I have a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just trying to figure out how to reach that goal as fast as I can,
Mm,
and maybe like I even contemplated that maybe going back to the workforce might be better for me as well. Cause a couple of episodes ago we talked about um I think there was this article about every Singaporean should be an entrepreneur, right? And we
right.
brought up that actually we are in a very good position because we have high income, and having high income we can get workers from developing countries and help us do the work. So having income is like a risk free thing, right? And creating a business is very risky. So if you can balance it out, you decrease the risk of running a business by having a job.
Mm,
So with that I am contemplating about like returning to the workforce, and then having an income, and then uh what do I call it, like flushing some income into the startup, and
mm.
that's something I've been toying about lah. So
But
we'll
it's
see how.
not like a means to an end, then you're going back to a cycle where you're doing something that you don't really want to do.
Yeah,
But
but I think with that, right, I mean last time maybe I could say I was like more immature lah. Like I thought working is the end all be all. Like how am I supposed to juggle my time? I end work already, then I go to a gym, all this, like where's the time? But now, as having this experience, like as a founder, there's always time lah. You can always find time.
mm,
And and last time is
mm,
like, yeah, sure, I earn all this money, right? Then like maybe I can eat Hai Di Lao. I can go to expensive restaurants like more often to reward myself, stuff like that. But it's all very superficial stuff. Now I have this bigger goal, like I need to make my startup work, and I need this amount of money to help me to get to where I want to be. So it's more purposeful. Oh, maybe right. The difference between that two activities is the purpose lah.
mm.
Yeah, my work was not purposeful. Like, yeah, it had meaning. Not It's not to say like my work had no meaning, but it had no purpose. I
What was
think,
the you between purpose and meaning?
right. So meaning is something which like like okay, so my job is to help people solve financial problems in their business operations. That's the meaning of it. And I help uh like I provide some kind of value with this, but then the purpose is more towards like your core, right? Like your life. It sounds very cliche if I say like life purpose or goal or something like that, but I think purpose is like larger than you. It's uh it's something which you try to reach, like you work hard to reach this end
I think
goal.
in the context, it's kind of like vision and mission.
Yeah, but I don't share the same vision and mission to with Accenture. Their mission and vision is not my mission and vision, right? So
Right.
yeah, if
So at the end of the day, like purpose, in your definition, purpose is kind of like a goal that you want to work towards on your own personal self,
mm,
right? Your
yeah,
own goal. But whereas meaning is kind of like it's also like a
meaning is like
goal.
value, right? Maybe it's like quite interchangeable, like some values out of it. um
Mm,
I think goals, I mean, purpose would be like, okay, so let's say for example, like I have kids, like the purpose, like they are my purpose, they are my purpose of life, right? Like to give them a good foundation, to provide for them. That's a purpose. I think when I started, I didn't have this kind of, I didn't have something, like I didn't have purpose. It's very
right.
superficial, everything.
So what you're saying is that now your purpose is kind of like to grow your, I mean, to grow into your own startup, like into, create your own successes, through your own ventures, through your own, I guess, your own ventures that you built. So that is kind of like your purpose. So no matter what you do, if you go back to the workforce or that, your purpose still remains the same as
Mm,
that.
mm, mm,
Uh,
mm. Yeah, no
So,
matter where I go, I will still think of, okay, how, if let's say I earn 3,000, how can I use this 3,000 to help grow my business?
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that that money would mean something more, like the job would mean something more.
Right. Right. But what difference do you think it what like I mean like it makes, because to me, like when you said that, okay, you had this goal also at that at the point of time where you wanted to work your way up towards saving $2 million, and to earn passive income from there.
Hmm.
So wasn't that kind of like a purpose also?
I think, okay, I think, right, because it sounded very doable, then it got boring to me, maybe.
It sounded doable, or I don't know, because to me it sounds like you thought that, okay, so to you it was doable.
Yeah,
Like that seems like a very clear path, like
yeah,
I
yeah,
said.
yeah,
So that didn't.
yeah. I felt like that was a bar. Like, I can't say like the bar is too low lah, but it's like I'm reaching for something more, and
Mm.
like two mil is like a consolation lah, in a sense.
This, I don't know, I just had this random thought. In that sense, do you think that, well, everyone needs a little bit of gambling in life to reach their purpose?
Uh,
I mean, like if
no,
you think,
it really depends on who you're talking to, right? Because
starting a venture and all that, it's pretty much like a gamble. Like to least to say, right, like a gamble. There's of course so many other more complex ways of talking about venture, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like gamble. No one whether it's going
mm,
to like work or not. And I'm not just talking about just one venture, right? I'm talking about every venture,
mm, mm, mm,
all your ventures that you started, right? Everything is gamble, like no matter what.
mm,
Like no matter whether you have like three successful
mm,
exits
mm,
and all
mm.
that, but your next one is always like a gamble still.
Yeah. I mean, in
Uh,
finance, we learn what, right? If you want higher returns, you need to have higher risk.
right, higher risk. So do you think at the end of the day, to find purpose in life, you need to gamble?
No, no, I you go and risk more. I
Like
think.
gamble in a way, but I mean like you're taking like a calculated risk,
Mm,
but I'm just simplifying it and just saying gambling,
mm,
right? Like
yeah.
like 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 gambling meaning that
Mm.
so it feels higher than you,
Yeah,
like
yeah, I understand, and I'm saying like, no, I don't think that everyone should do that, because some people are really like risk averse, and okay, so that's those some people are like my partner, my girlfriend. She's someone who don't want to take risks. She wants to know, like, to the T, right? Like your eyes and your eye must be dotted and all that stuff. You know, like she needs to know every detail on what's going to happen.
Mm,
But that's for herself lah. She's kind enough to understand like, oh, I'm someone who wants to take risk.
mm.
So, but that being said, she still has
But
a
tied to ambition?
sorry,
Like, is it tied to ambition?
tag to ambition. Hmm, that's a good question. I wouldn't say that she has no ambition. Yeah.
No, like ambition beyond what you can see. Because
Mm,
you think about it, like you can clearly see that okay, in 20 years time it's possible for me to actually get, let's say like $2 million and all that, and I
mm,
can actually live like a comfortable life, thereafter, right?
mm,
Something that you can see, right? But
mm,
ambition probably, loosely means that hey, you are trying to reach for something that you can't see yet, that you thought that you can't even think that is possible right now, but you are going to do whatever you can to try to reach beyond what you can see,
mm. Yeah,
so I guess
I believe so. Yeah, I think maybe if you put it that way, then yeah, probably it's about the ambition lah. And it's about the we say like how optimistic you view life as. I'm not very
mm,
sure.
yeah, I think that's a factor as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
I'm like very I think most founders are lah, like they are hopelessly optimistic If
Right.
because if you are not, then it's so difficult to be a founder.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that's something that sets founders apart, I guess. But that doesn't mean that if you're not a hopeless optimist, then you do not have like success or happiness, right?
You are optimist about your own goals, right? Like that
Mm,
you
mm,
can.
mm, mm.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like suddenly when you said that like hopeless optimist, I'm just thinking like I'm sure there are businesses out there selling like doomsday stuff, right? Like, I mean, like are they optimists or are they pessimists? Like it's just very confusing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
opportunist.
like optimists about your own abilities to reach your ambitions. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the case lah. I think so. Or like, okay, I thought about self doubt and everything, but in the end, maybe there's some kind of like a ego in play. Maybe, perhaps ego. I'm not too sure. It's a bit deep for me.
I mean, like, what do you mean by that?
Ego. So
No, I mean
like,
like related to your self doubt. So what what do you mean by ego?
oh, as in like it's quite opposite, right? Having self doubt and having an ego. Like if someone is very egotistical, he more likely or not don't really have much self doubt because he's full of himself, he's super confident.
So they're overconfident.
Yeah, overconfidence. Yeah. So I think I have some part of that, but there's also the thing at the back of my mind and say, are you really sure? Yeah.
Mm,
I mean
mm,
that's why the story came about me standing up for my colleague, right, in front of the clients. Like if someone who's no ego, if someone has very like low ego, like low self-esteem, he probably won't be able to speak up this way. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
even I mean even speaking of a podcast, there's some ego in play, right? Yeah.
Mm, okay. Wait, let's quickly circle back to like your list of habits. Okay, so let's just list them down and just tell us and just briefly tell us what worked, what didn't work. So you had like waking up early. Okay, that was debunked. You
Yeah,
had
they
going to
were.
okay, that kind of worked. Yeah, that actually worked.
Mm.
That was the third one.
Studying. So
Okay,
learning something new every day.
so did that work?
Uh, that
Happy?
I wasn't consistent, so there wasn't like the data doesn't really show too much lah.
So
Yeah.
that's inconclusive. Then what are the other ones on the list?
That's about it. Yeah, I just
Oh,
chose. Yeah,
three,
only
three,
yeah,
three
only
things.
chose three. Yeah. But how where got time to do other stuff?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But was there like a fourth in consideration? Like, was there
No,
another?
there wasn't a fourth, but there were observations, right? So one observation was this is only for me lah, because not everyone is the same. Is to talk to a random stranger every day.
Yeah, you were actually talking about that earlier to like socialize or like interact, right?
Yeah. So I started work in a like work from home situation, right? So there isn't like this kind of like there isn't like office chit chat. Like
Mm.
when I speak to my